Let me tell you why 99% of faceless YouTube videos fail and how you can create the top 1% of faceless YouTube videos that actually get views and make money. But before we get into all of that, why should you listen to me? Well, I've been making videos on YouTube for the last 4 years, and in that time, I have made both face-based and faceless videos that have gotten millions of views and generated thousands of dollars in revenue. So in this video, I'm going to share everything that I have learned over the past 4 years and during the several weeks of research that I have done for this particular video, so that you stand a chance to make videos that actually do well, that the algorithm loves, and that are not lost in a sea of YouTube content. Now, the first thing that you need to know about why 99% of faceless YouTube videos fail is because most of them are just bad videos. Now, most advice on the internet gives you the expectation that faceless videos are super easy to create and they can make you rich, like they're a get-rich-quick scheme, very, very quickly. You are told that you can outsource your work to maybe a freelancer or to AI, and just like that, you'll be making $10,000 a month in no time. The result, videos that end up looking like this.
These national parks are so underrated. First up, Canada's Banff National Park, a haven of turquoise lakes and tall mountains. Next, Chile's Torres del Paine National Park, a realm of glaciers and unique wildlife.
And obviously get no views and make no money. Don't get me wrong, making $10,000 a month with faceless videos is entirely possible. Look at channels like Magnates Media, 10x Income, Mr. Nightmare. They are doing it, but it does not happen overnight. And yes, it's possible to get great results using AI tools, but there is still a learning curve. You still need to understand the basics of storytelling, the YouTube algorithm, and you need to learn how to use these AI tools effectively in order to generate great results. You have to be willing to do the legwork. Keep in mind that you will either need to invest time or money, and in most cases both, in order to make good faceless videos. On InVideo's channel, it took us 30 odd faceless videos before we hit 100K or 200K on one single video. On my own personal channel, which is a face-based channel, it took me 30 videos before I hit 100K on one single video and my channel got monetized. Most successful faceless creators have experimented with multiple channels before they launched the faceless channel that is now successful. The key to making good faceless videos like them is to first understand what makes a good video and then trying to implement those learnings repeatedly till you become successful. The second reason that your faceless videos are not getting any views is because you are trying to make content that you find interesting without doing any sort of market research on what your audience wants to watch. This is a common mistake that most people make when they are starting out, so it's nothing to be afraid of, but it helps to become aware of it. Most of us, when we start out, we think that our personal ideas, our personal preferences dictate what works in the content world without really having an understanding of what the content world requires. And this means sitting down, doing research on what kind of videos your audience or the audience that you are trying to target wants to watch. You can create the best video in the world on the topic that you desire, but if nobody wants to watch a video on that topic, you are not going to get any views because people will not want to click on it. So how do you find good ideas? How do you find ideas that people really want to watch? Well, we have made a full video on this topic, so make sure you go check that out next. But I'm gonna brief you on this to help you get started, right? You start by analyzing successful channels in your niche. Your niche is basically the broad area in which you want to create content. Let's say you want to create self-help content, so self-help becomes your niche. And then you want to go ahead and analyze successful channels in the self-help space and see which topics are actually working well for them. So for example, if you go to a channel like Charisma on Command, you will see that topics around self-confidence and charisma are actually doing pretty well. So you go ahead, analyze the top performing videos on their channel, and that gives you an idea that these are the topics that people are actually interested in watching. That's not the full story, but it's where you start. Now, in addition to this, you also want to explore the YouTube trending page, the Google Trends page, to get an idea of what are the search terms that people are getting interested in at different times of the year. For example, now on YouTube, because it's the last 3 months of the year, terms like the winter arc, 90-day challenge, 75 hard challenge, things like this are going to be trending in the self-help space because these are the things that people are interested in. They want to enter 2025 with a bang. They want to be able to enter 2025 as their best selves, and therefore these are the topics that they are going to be searching for. So that gives you a general idea of yearly trends. Similarly, there are going to be event-specific trends on Google Trends, etc. And the reason that this is important is not because this is going to dictate your topic selection every time, but it helps you make more informed decisions. And that is really, really helpful when you're trying to create videos that people want to watch. And before we end this section, your niche matters. Just like your topic, if you are creating videos in a niche that people don't really care about, that not a lot of people want to watch, you are never going to get the kind of numbers that you are aiming for, because not as many people are interested in that particular domain. For example, if your niche is candle making, for instance, and I am just speaking about this as a reference, as an example. If your niche is candle making and you are creating videos like the best videos on candle making, but nobody's interested in watching videos on candle making, you are still not going to get views. So both your niche and your topic are extremely, extremely important. This brings us to the third reason that your videos are not performing well, that they are not getting any views, and that is because your packaging is probably trash. Sorry for the harsh language. Let me give you an example from my own channel, right? Look at this video. It's only gotten 28,000 views, right? And looking back on it, now I understand exactly why. The title is super long, so it's getting cut off by YouTube. It's also very vague. It does not clearly specify what the viewer can expect in the video. The thumbnail and the title don't go very well together. They're not coherent. So when the person looks at the thumbnail and then they look at the title, they don't really know what's happening. It's a split-second decision for the audience that's scrolling through hundreds of videos on YouTube. That confusion just prevents them from clicking on the video. In contrast, look at this video, right? It's gotten over 300,000 views, and it's pretty simple why. The title, super short, super impactful, and very, very clear on what the video is about. Same for the thumbnail. It's clear, it's effective, it shows a transition space, and the viewer immediately understands what the video is about, and therefore more clicks, more views. To explain this better, let me take another example from a Faceless channel, right? Look at this video by Isaac. It's gotten over 1 million views, and if you look at the packaging, it becomes glaringly obvious why that is the case. The title is short, it's to the point. The thumbnail is super simple. There's just 3 or 4 elements. It's very, very clear what he wants to convey. Like, the imagery is extremely clear. There's just 2 words on the thumbnail. No extra BS, no distracting element. It's eye-catching. It is super simple. It's very easy for the viewer to understand, and they instantly know that they want to watch this video. We also have a full video on how to design killer packaging, killer thumbnails for your videos. So make sure you go check that out when you are trying to grow your own Faceless channel, because it's going to be super, super helpful. For now, let's get to the fourth reason why your videos are not getting any views. And that is because you do not know how to tell a good story. Most of us, when we are starting out on YouTube, myself included, believe that high production value, like good camera, good equipment, good editing, is all that is needed to make a video successful. And while those things have their place, they are important, they are not as important as telling a good story. No amount of frills can compensate for a bad story, right? Your story, the actual material, the content of your video, is the hero. It is the biggest tool in your arsenal. Whether you're sharing insights, whether you're teaching a concept, whether you're doing comedy or education, the way you talk about the information in your video is what is going to ensure whether somebody sticks from the beginning to the end. If they're dropping off, your story is the problem. Look at the most recent Marvel movies as an example, right? They are doing everything right. They are big budget movies, thousands of crores invested in every single film, big production crews, yet the movies are still flopping. Why? Because the audience is tired of the same old boring trope. They are not invested in the story that these movies are telling because the stories are bad. So how do you improve your storytelling? You make sure you go check out the script writing video that we have, because we do a deeper dive into this entire section in that video. But to get you started, the first thing you need to focus on is how you start your story, the intro, the hook of your video, which is the first 30 seconds or so, because how you tell the information in those first 30 seconds determines whether people will stay on for the rest of your video? How do you build suspense? How do you build curiosity? Do you give them something to look forward to in those first 30 seconds? If you're unable to do that, they are not going to be interested in watching the rest of your video. Another thing you can do is try the 3-act structure, which is one of the most common storytelling structures in the world, right? Most movies, videos, music videos, book, TV shows use this structure, and it's very, very effective. That is why everybody uses it. So your 3-act structure basically has 3 acts. So what is the 3-act structure? If you think of the protagonist or the hero in a movie, think of it from their perspective. You first have the setup where we are basically getting to know what the movie or the story is going to be about. Then we have the conflict, a place where the protagonist, the hero, basically experiences turmoil or he's going through a period of conflict. And then the last act is your resolution, when he finds the solution for this conflict. This basically mirrors the most natural form of storytelling, and hence it works so well, and it works very well for videos, movies, like we've already established. And you should definitely try it out for your next video and see whether that makes a difference in how you tell your story. In addition to this, you can break your content down into structures, into points, into subsets, which is something that we do a lot on this channel, which is something that I also do personally on my own channel. And that basically allows your viewers to easily digest the information and therefore makes them want to stick around for longer. And finally, you want to emphasize, or you want to focus on making viewers feel an emotional connect with the content that you are presenting. Make them feel emotionally invested in the story that you are telling. And it can be any emotion, right? It can be positive emotions like curiosity, excitement, anticipation, which is something that Isaac does really well on his channel. If you look at any of his videos, he builds these emotions of anticipation, of curiosity of what's going to happen next. It can be negative emotions of anger, frustration, fear, all of those. A lot of video essays do this very, very well. James Jani is a channel who builds both curiosity and frustration within the audience really well through his, structure of storytelling. So these are great examples to check out. Go research, study their channels, and this will give you a better understanding of how to structure your own videos. Coming to the 5th reason why your faceless videos are not doing very well, and that is because your personality, your uniqueness is not shining through. Most faceless channels, and by most I mean 99% of faceless channels and faceless creators, when they start out by mirroring or copying content that is already working, which is why you see a lot of copycats in this space. But in doing so, they basically forego everything else and they try to make an exact replica of the video or the channel that has already worked. But what most of these creators are not realizing is that it's not just about what you are presenting, it's not just about the content, but it's also about who is presenting it and how it is being presented. Personality plays a huge role in audience connection. And because most faceless channels lack this personality, that is why their content ends up feeling generic. In face-based channels, what ends up happening is that viewers start associating your information with your face. For example, if you're watching this video, you are associating this information with my face. But in faceless channels, because they don't have a face to imprint onto, they don't have a face or a personality to latch onto, they require other aspects to be able to connect to that human, to be able to experience that humanity, to be able to latch onto. So these can be things like the tone of your voice, the way you deliver your lines, your sarcasm, your humor, the way that you simplify information. People may click for a particular topic if they don't know you already, but they stay if they feel connected to you, to watching the video. And most successful faceless channels, whether it's 10x Income, whether it's Magnates Media, whether it's Isaac, Mr. Nightmare, make their personalities shine through very, very well. One of my favorite examples for personality to shine through is a channel called Easy Actually, which actually went viral with one single video. This guy has a banger sense of humor. He's using stick figures to basically explain all of the information that he's giving. And yet, once you start watching his video, you want to stick around because you just have this understanding that this is a very funny person. He's entertaining, and yet he's providing self-help information in a fun and easy to understand way. So the obvious question now is, how can you make your personality shine through? And my friends, this is a hard answer to swallow, but it is the only honest one, and that is through a lot of practice. You cannot manufacture your unique offering, right? You cannot manufacture your personality. That only starts to come through in content once you've had a lot of practice creating different types of content. What you can manufacture though is consistent branding, which is also something people start to associate with you, with your channel, with your Faceless channel. And successful creators do this by having AI avatars, having the same AI voice in their video if you are using AI voices, right? And you can actually do this very, very easily using InVideo. You just clone your voice and then you can use the same voice for every single video moving forward. You can also do this through the use of colors, use of fonts, use of different style elements in your videos, and then people start to associate all of these elements with your videos. So Easy actually does this by using stick figures, for example. Isaac does this by using yellow font and his AI avatar in all of his videos, so on and so forth. But when it comes to your unique offering of your personality, wanting to make some part of your personality shine through your videos, that is only possible through hard work. Coming to the next reason that your videos are not getting any views, and that is because you do not understand the YouTube algorithm and YouTube analytics. Just as any successful entrepreneur relies on data to make informed decisions, YouTubers, both face-based and faceless YouTubers, need to rely on their analytics, on actual real-world data to understand how to create videos that will actually work for their audience. Now, the catch-22 situation here is that you will not start to get enough relevant data unless you've made enough videos that have gotten a few views on each of them. So you need to actually put in enough legwork before you get to a point where you get enough substantial data that you can study, that you can analyze and understand what's working and what's not. Which brings us back to the point of legwork. Legwork initially, especially on YouTube, is extremely important. Like I told you, with my own channel, I made like 30 odd videos before I hit 100K on one video and my channel got monetized. For those 30 videos, it wasn't monetized. I was just creating videos in the abyss, hoping that somebody would see them. But because of all of that legwork, once my channel hit monetization, once I started actually getting in views from future videos that were performing well, all of those previous videos started getting views as well, and that helped me understand what was working and what is not. So once you've done your legwork and once you started seeing some numbers on your YouTube analytics, here are the 3 things on your analytics that you need to focus on. The first is your CTR, or your click-through rate, which is the percentage of people who actually clicked on your video after it was shown to them, whether in their home feed or in their suggested feed. This metric basically tells you whether your packaging is effective. So if you have low CTR or low click-through rate, it can mean one of 2 things. 1, your topic is boring and nobody wants to watch it. And 2, while your topic is interesting and okay, your packaging is boring and trash. And that brings us to the second point that we discussed in this video. That will mean that you need to improve your packaging, and once you improve your packaging and your CTR improves, that will tell you that this is the direction that you need to go in. The second metric you need to focus on is your AVD, average view duration or watch time. This basically tells you what is the average duration for which a viewer is watching your video. Let's say you make a 15-minute video, but the average view duration on that video is 2 minutes or 2 minutes and 30 seconds, right? Which means that most people who are coming to that video are not watching it beyond the 2-minute mark. Now, what does this tell you? This tells you that you probably need to work on your scripting and your storytelling to be able to improve the retention of your viewer on your video, so that whatever effort you've made for that 15-minute video, people do end up sticking around and watching it till the end. And the third metric you need to focus on is your impressions. So if you go to the reach tab in your YouTube analytics and look at impressions, that tells you the number of times YouTube actually pushed out your video. So your CTR, or your click-through rate, is irrelevant if your impression count is low, right? So let's say you made the best video on candle making, but YouTube only gave it like 1,000 impressions. Even if you have like a click-through rate of 13%, which means 13% of all the 1,000 people who got shown this video clicked on it, that's just what, 130 views? And that is not something that you want, right? While you cannot yourself do anything about the impressions that your videos are getting, what this tells you is whether your topic is interesting enough for your audience to watch or not. The more the impressions, the better your videos are likely to perform. And if you do consistently start creating content, pushing out content on your YouTube channel, your impressions go up automatically. And that also tells you that you need to be consistent. So these are the 3 very important metrics that you need to be focusing on if you want to understand the YouTube algorithm better and if you want to understand YouTube analytics. So if you fix these 6 mistakes or these 6 problems that we've spoken about in today's video, you'll be well on your way to creating videos that people actually want to watch. But if you truly want to skyrocket your money making potential, there is still more work to be done. If you're serious about turning your Faceless channel into a money making machine, make sure that you check out this video next, where we talk about how you can monetize your channel super fast as a Faceless creator. It's not just theory, it's actionable step-by-step strategies that are used by the top YouTubers in the world that have helped them monetize their channels super fast. So I highly recommend checking this one out next, because this can mean that your 2025 ends up looking drastically different. And let us know in the comments which of the pointers from today's video applied the most to you. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.